Hello, hello, welcome to Last Pixel Standing, and this is Project Highrise from SomaSim. It is basically the first true, well, in my opinion, probably the first true successor to Sim Tower back in the 90s, a game that I truly loved, and so I've been watching and looking forward to the official release, which this is, of Project Highrise. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's go with Lost Heaven Towers. And if you don't get that reference, it's actually from Mafia, the original Mafia, the City of Lost Heaven. Another personal favorite game of mine. So, to begin with, let's just keep the default settings here for lot size and difficulty and go into it. As you can see from the background too, yeah, I have the pre-purchase DLC bundle that came with the game. We start out with this very basic little first floor here, or rather, ground floor, and the little basement level. So there's not much to start out with. What I kind of want to do though is extend this out by 3, because a elevator takes up 3 spots, as you can see. So what we're gonna do is basically set it up for a continuous situation with elevators. And I'm kind of gonna go for a office park type tower at first, at least. And I want to start out with 2 levels here of main offices. And I'm thinking that the ground floor here is gonna be where some of the the small cafes and such like that are gonna go. In fact, I can actually just put that in right there, because this spot right here is going to be for utility closet for water and gas. See, what you basically have is the infrastructure here, which is more flooring, stairs, and the elevators. And then the building staff, maintenance, which I'll get to, but right at the moment they are an upkeep cost, different things, and things don't break down within the first couple days usually. Trash, which is not as important until later restaurants and offices come up. Storerooms for shops, which we haven't gotten to yet. As you can see, it even has a prestige requirement, which I'll need to build up a couple of population within the tower first. And then you got transit, which is unlocked down here, if I remember. Yeah. Public transit under politics in the influence bar, which we'll go further into as well. And you have all the utilities: electricity, phone, cable, water, and gas. You have the bulldozer. You got a bunch of different restaurants that you can do once you've unlocked them. Offices, which this will be the first that we deal with them here. And then we have apartments, which, as I said, I kind of want to go for an office park. So I'm not going to be dealing with the apartments, at least not yet. You have the services for the building, which are very important. You got both the residential and the commercial, different services that come in for offices or apartments. You have the offices and building consultants, which directly influences the influence stuff right here that I said we would deal with later. You have artwork and decorative elements, which are tied again to influence and the consultants. You have the existing contracts here, which in fact I'll probably just grab up the basic offices one right now, because you can take 2. In fact, there's another. If you have enough buzz, you can do a campaign that picks you up a single extra contract. but it's not nearly as important. Right here is all the statistics you'll have to go through. I mean, I don't necessarily, I mean, this is a really great tool, but I don't go into it nearly as much. A lot of what you need to know is right here front and center. And then you have the overlay, talking about, you know, elevators, traffic, because a lot of different restaurants and businesses and such, they like high traffic areas. The more fancy offices and apartments don't like high traffic areas. Noises and smells, they'll be a big effect later on to more uppity clientele and residents. But, you know, we're going to run the game at high speed. If I need to, I can always pause it, as most of these management games and strategy games have. But you pretty much don't see anything get done if you run it at regular standard speed. So you're gonna be running this game almost entirely in the higher speeds. So we bring over by 2 and start laying down our offices. Now it looks like I'm 1 short of having another full office, so I'm gonna just raise this up by, or expand it out by 1 each level here. Might as well throw in the utility closets here so that electricity is running for all that. They're getting further and further along on finishing off the levels. Now what we're going to see here is that insurance offices, they take electricity. Let's pause this so I can talk to you for a sec about this. See, this requires, first you need more food court restaurants. Easy enough, just I'm going to fit stuff in here. But at the same time, they also like phone lines, and down towards the bottom you see they expect courier services, copy services. Some of them want other things. I know the legal office is here. I mean, I can't even go into them yet. Just yet, anyways. They need a higher variety. This needs prestige and greater variety of cafes. But we're going to get into that later on, anyways. So, for the most part, you just start off here, which is the basic insurance offices. All they require is electricity and some copy services. So, first and foremost, let's get some clients lined up. And while we're paused, we go in here and see about the... Wait, no, they wanted copy services. Where is it that it checks it again? Yeah. No, they wanted copy services. And then, that might be a little bit cramped for them, but I can always expand it. I mean, I'm gonna expand the downstairs here so an elevator can come down anyways. And then I'm thinking we might want to put in another basement level right there. Just bring this down. And that gives them something to do. So at the same time, we're going to need a phone. Which I might as well extend something right here so that I can get a good-sized closet in there. See, right here we have the 10, which doesn't exactly give you much. I need to get the electrical wires out as well. So, that only supplies 10. We're gonna need something bigger very quickly. The next up takes up 3 slots, that's 50, and the last one gives 150 connections. So Ideally, I mean, but they are very expensive. 5,500 and a 1,500 per day upkeep cost. Right down from that, 2,750 per day cost, and then 250 and 250. So, but the thing is that the tens, they really won't do you any good. So I'm thinking let's move in a small group here. This gives breakfast and lunch. That only serves lunch. So I'm leaning towards burritos. And we'll extend this so that they have power. And they're finishing off this floor. So when we need all the other services that the accounting offices need, we'll have courier services, stuff like that down there. They need courier, just courier. Creative offices usually need something extra as well. So we're going to look into that. So those guys have a restaurant. And this says we need 4 insurance, 4 accounting, 4 lawyers, 4 creative. So what we're going to look into here, we need 1 more restaurant probably, or they won't be happy with that. So let's just get our little hot dog grill and extend that out a bit. Since the next up on the list for offices is going to need phones, I'm going to drop a 50 right here and use the phone connections to connect this level. Yeah. Soon enough, I'm going to need more electrical, and I'm probably just going to erase this and put in a 50 right there. But other than that, there's not too much else. Let's start moving in some of these guys. So they're going to need courier services. And so while they're finishing that up, let's just drop a courier service right along here. Bring down the power so that I can connect it up. Okay, now they're going to be a lot happier. These guys require the same exact stuff. Oh, already they don't have enough electricity. Well, I have enough money. So, let's pause it so that we don't have problems with our tenants complaining they don't have power while we're replacing this, and just shove this in. And boom, we are now, instead of 11 and only have 10, we have 50. And so we can start building and just keep building lots and lots of offices without worrying too much about the limitations. So, since the accounting offices are out, but these guys have the exact same needs, let's just shove that guy in there. And he's only unhappy because he didn't have electricity for a second, even though nobody's actually working there. So we have a pretty big deficit here. What we might want to do is build out here so that each level can have a few more offices right there. Because as you go up, each floor piece goes up in cost as well. It's basically like the infrastructure, the higher you go up, is going to have to be a little different, a little tougher, in order to not topple, because it's also supporting the weight at a higher altitude. I mean, I think they're just trying to make it so that you manage the lower levels. It gets a little bit more expensive, but you won't be up there until you're making a much bigger profit. So now that we have this room here, we can fit 2 more each level. So a legal office, again, we have all that they need. Let's extend the services of electricity and phone out to this one. In fact, you know, things are going to go in there directly. So let's extend it all the way out to the other offices. And we just reached 1 prestige. Now, the cafes, which please a lot of people, require that 1 prestige. So now they're open. But they require... this one requires water. And that would be another hookup that I do not want to afford at the moment. But if I shove that in, which only requires electricity, I think it'll be just fine for now. I just got the beginning contract finished up. So I think this might be worthwhile. And the creative offices have opened up now too. These all require phone and electric. So they're basically along the same level as the others, but now some of them require different things. Office supply stores and bottled water service for this one specifically. So I think what we're going to do is take a loan out and get myself a brand new level. Because as you can see, it only goes out a little bit to here. We need a elevator that'll go up to there so that they can start building it up. And we have breakdown, so now I'm actually also going to need the maintenance people. Because people are going to get pissed on this floor specifically anyways, that the elevator is not working. So here come the maintenance people, they're going to fix it up. I am going to need to shove in... Oh, they haven't finished that up. Well, either way, let's put in the phone and electric. And wire it over. And then wire this over. Have we gotten... all these are still out. So what I'm going to do is the insurance offices, which are going to be in this level, who just require, and since we need more legal offices, I'll click that guy. And then that's going to give us more possible tenants while I fill this out. And as I said, these are going to be to start creative offices, which need office supplies. So I'm going to shove some of these guys in this floor. And grab up an office supplies and put them down in the basement. Fits perfectly right there too. So that worked out really well. So now we're going to have this. Let's see, what other cafes do we have? This one, again, only required, but this goes... I think we're going to get water soon enough. Right now I'm going to hold off on making this another cafe. We're going to fill this back up with what we can with insurance. The legal offices on this level. This guy requires some electricity. And then this guy is the only creative office who requires bottled water services. So I'm going to decline him. And that will bring it down to 0. And then I can open it back up to more requests. And I can accept only the requests from people who say, you know, wanted the office supplies. That way I can avoid having to build a bottled water service just for one client. And look at there. We get 2 nicely paying tenants who only want the office supplies. And we have one more spot. Actually, these guys only need electrical. I need 1 accountant. I think we'll build... Let's see, how much further do we have? We can build out a bit. Instead of building up yet another level, let's build out a bit again. And in fact, these legal offices can go on the first floor with the people who only wish to have electricity, which works out great for me. By the way, you only need one little tile to have electricity. Sometimes, I mean, you're just gonna swoop across a level, and that's fine too. It's not really gonna hurt anything. It's not going to affect any of the gameplay. You're just gonna spend like an extra $13. Oh. So let's see. These 2 easy to fill. Let's put 2 more offices right there. There's a creative office available, but he's the one who wants bottled water. And we needed accounting. So we have plenty of accounting offices that want in now. So our services go up to there, but not any further. So to fill out those, we're gonna... Oh, and I got the basic offices contract finished, which gave me a little bit of money boost as it is. As you can see, our daily balance is going into the green finally, which, I mean, at first you're just not gonna have. That's how the game's gonna work. You're not going to immediately be making lots and lots of money, and you have to work your way up. I mean, I got it pretty fast, in fact, but I'm also trying to build a little more carefully, as you can see with the bottled water changing, not putting in too many of the services right away, not trying to build upwards a million levels all at once. So now we need to get up to 50, and I can actually take yet another contract, which I think the next set will be easy. This one wants 12 medium offices. That's going to take a sec. So I think we're going to take incremental, which we're almost there as well. The same with the population. So I don't want to put insurance offices up here. If I can get people who require the services of phone and electricity, that would be ideal. And as you can see, we've gotten prestige level 2, which unlocked like the next level of apartment, which is small 1-bedroom, the medium office. Oh, and there we go with the contract there. So I can pick up yet another one. I think resounding revenue or medium offices. Well, adding a place that serves breakfast, a place that serves lunch, and a place that serves coffee. We already have that, so I can get that money automatically. The studio apartments, no. I think instead of all the way to 5,000 in rent, we will start working on the medium contracts. After this level, that's what I want to work on the most, to be honest. As it is, we are going to start doing water a little bit, but I'm wondering, did I get any more people who want in that have... These will refill by themselves, by the way, just very slowly. So what I kind of want to do, Oh, it also added in the storage bays for shops, because now at this level of prestige, you can build the shops up. So now that I have some money from the different contracts that I finished up, we are going to build 2 more levels. And I'll fill these in when, like, they just come naturally, honestly. And medium offices are going to be my next goal here. I'm going to extend the underground too, since the medium offices require a lot more stuff. If I remember, they're also probably going to require a couple interesting. Let's see. I can do medical stuff like that. They're going to require shops. They're going to require some more services. A lot of them require like 2 or 3 services in general to make them happy. Now, the big thing to note as well is that, for instance, it says that they expect, but there's a difference. There's the need and the expect. And you can get away with not having expected things for a short period of time. It's kind of a fail-safe for the fact that sometimes you'll put in a bunch of new offices or a bunch of new apartments, and the services that they expect will be overwhelmed. You'll need to put in a brand new one, but you won't realize it right at first, and that, it'll take a sec. Maybe you don't have all the money. So expecting means that they can run with it, but they're not going to be happy about that. And you can get away with it for a very short amount of time. The needs, though, before you ever put anything in, make sure you can meet the needs of said installations that you're trying to get in there. So we're going to start shoving in medium offices, which, as you can see, they are 2.5 times the size of the regular offices. I can only fit 6 in the same levels that fit 8 of our smaller offices here, but the rents are so much higher. 350, 400, the medical offices. Oh yeah, I require a drugstore, so I can put that in as well. But in fact, I think we are going to stop right there and say that this is the end of the video. So, would you kindly subscribe if you would, like if you could, and I will see you in the next video of Project Highrise on Last Pixel Standing. Goodbye.